So we're standing in front of one of my largest drawings. It's almost 7 feet tall by 21 feet long. It's charcoal and pastel on one piece of paper. It's entitled M, to me, to mine. And the title is directly related to the concept in that the M stands for a number of things. It has several layers, but it has a little bit to do with motherhood and sort of passing down things through generationally. So the M stands for my mother's first name, which was Margaret, and my first name is Marie. It's also, you could think about it as Mary, which not only is in Christianity, you know, our mother. It's also a very common name through many, many cultures, and I think it sort of really stands for the feminine. So I'm always interested in multiple meanings. I may have this personal reason, motivation, inspiration that started the piece, but I hope that it goes beyond and reaches out to other people. So from M to me to mine, so that's, I'm thinking about my own mother, me, and then my daughter, and any, subsequent family members. And you'll see in the piece, there's this major division between the two. These divisions are seen in a lot of my work, and it relates back to the title of our show, Amplifying the Between. So I think about sort of our existence on this world, and the sense of physical gravity that holds us here, our material lives, and sort of the day-to-day, and how that is often quite different or separated from the more ethereal parts of living, the sacred, the heavenly layers that you might think of. So I think that, the left side is much more ethereal. These are cloud-like forms. I've had people refer to them as vapors, which I like that notion. This form here could be read in different ways. And I'm also very interested in ambiguous imagery, in that I'm giving you a little information to kind of take your mind or take your imagination to a particular place, and yet I don't want to nail it down precisely as to one place in this world, in the way that a narrative painting or a representational like painting would do. So you see on either side of this red, some people call it a ribbon form, there's a sort of a sense of atmosphere on either side that's very different. One has green kind of atmosphere, the other is black. So it's just kind of exploring the two different sides. In my studio, I was making large charcoal drawings up to 13 feet. And that was the largest I could make in my studio. It was a 3-car garage that was converted into a studio. I proposed to the Santa Barbara Contemporary Arts Forum that I create a large mural-sized drawing on one of their larger walls, and I'd work on it over a period of time. And I would work on it in the mornings, and then when the normal gallery hours opened up, which were probably around noon or 1, people could come in on a day-to-day basis and watch the progress of it. So I actually executed the drawing, made the drawing. I don't remember now, it was about a week worth of work. However, I did make sketches and preparatory studies for this work ahead of time because I knew my time was limited, and it was a little nerve-wracking to think that I might go to this drawing in the same way that I would go to these other drawings without a very strong preconceived notion that a lot of times I would just work and it would evolve out as I was going. And that felt a little scary to do in public, so I created it. This is charcoal and pastel, and that material is important to me because it's very, it's sort of the basics, and it goes back to ancient times. The way that I work the material is very much with my hands, pushing it, kind of staining the paper. So when this is done, there's a little bit of a fragility to the surface that the charcoal could kind of dust off, or if you touch it, you can wipe away the pastel, even though I am pushing a lot of it into the paper. So one has to fix that. In these days, we use what's called fixative, and most of us will go to an art store and buy a can of fixative, which is an alcohol base. And the space that I was working in had no ventilation, and people were working in there, and it's toxic to use that material. I researched more ancient types of recipes, how these, for instance, how Degas, who was a master pastelist, what materials did they use to fix their materials. So there's two recipes, one using egg whites, and the other one is using skim milk. When you remove the fat from the milk, it's pure protein, it's casein, and you may have heard of casein paints. It's similar, it's the same paint that back in the day, farmers would make their barns red. They would use skim milk and iron oxide. And that's why there are so many red barns, and especially in the Midwest. So I had to spray it with skim milk using an atomizer. And it has held up pretty well. This is, 30 years old now? And I may have to refix it, because sometimes touching it, I can feel the material coming off. The way that we install this, I store it rolled. And so what we have to do is create a level line on the wall. And then we hold the roll against the wall and start unrolling it, making sure that it's lined up against the top. And if it is going up or going down, we have to re-roll it back and start again. Luckily, our installation I think we only restarted once, and then it went up perfect. So that was a big relief, because every time you roll it and unroll it, there's a fear that it might damage it.